We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
and I'm Jill DeWitt, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2230. Jill and I today are talking about what a successful land investment month really looks like. Most people think, oh, I closed a deal and made 150 grand. I'm successful this month.
I'm like, and now I'm going to put my feet up. That's what happens all the time. I hear people like, I just figured I'd coast, and then I realize if I coast, it's going to mess up the next month. Yep.
I'll run through my list of what makes us successful each month. Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular request.
Okay. Alex wrote, hi all. Does anyone have an accountant who they like, who understands the land business and can set up effective tax strategies and accounting workflows that will support our business and can do personal returns? If so, I would love their contact info. Would I.
This has been a pretty hot topic since we started Land Academy. And Jill and I have had the same accountant. I've had the same accountant for decades. And I've asked him over the years if he would take on people from our group, and he said absolutely not. And it's because he has and always had a number of clients that he gets along with, and he has met that quota forever, and that's how much money he makes, and it's over. Mm-hmm. I respect that because I don't have that much discipline. I always want things to continue to get bigger. Anyway, I can tell you how we do it and how and why, describe how we have this set up and why it works for us. And then what I think would really be better for that, instead of me saying, oh, call this guy, it would be better for you to digest it and understand it, and then find an accountant that you get along with socially, or just have a symbiotic professional relationship with, and tell them what you want. And so tell them this, anyway, this is what works for us. Our companies are on a cash basis. We have all of our LLCs are in one state. They are S Corp election LLCs, meaning they roll up. So let's say we have 10 LLCs. Each of them makes a certain amount of money. They have expenses and revenue. And so they have taxable income at the end. That all rolls up, their S Corps, under our personal tax returns. They're cash basis, meaning if $50 goes out today and $150 comes in today, that's how it gets booked, versus accrual accounting, which is very complicated and in our industry unnecessary. There's new rules that came out that if you're generating more than $50 million or something like that, you have to go on an accrual basis. So that doesn't apply to us. And there's a lot of new rules and a lot of things that happen, but the basics of all of this are the same. What's very helpful and has been very helpful for us is, and I did a lot of years ago, I went and got a broker-dealer license. It's not what it sounds like. A real estate broker-dealer license allows me, it sounds like I'm a broker now, a real estate broker, which is completely ironic because we're not brokers at all. And for 10 years, we've been dogging brokers. So what it does is it allows our entities and us individually, as far as I know, to buy and sell land and be taxed as ordinary income. Meaning, if I had a convenience store and I sold a fruit pie for $1.25 and my cost is 30 cents, whatever that margin is, I get taxed on it as far as ordinary income, versus all kinds of other income out there, namely in real estate, 1031 exchange type capital gain. And so you should understand these things, please. I have to tell you, I know it's not the greatest topic to talk about, and most of you are probably asleep now.
I am.
And I know.
Just kidding.
But I'll tell you, if you turn this over to somebody, I mean, how many stories do we have to hear about turning your financial life over to somebody?
Trust them, no.
And then 10 years, mostly sports stars and rock stars, and then everybody's bankrupt because they're just not managing you have to manage your own money. You're an entrepreneur. True. Try to get that election. I've heard, I got mine, 15 years ago. Check it out. I don't think it's hard. I heard a couple of people just went out and got it very quickly, if you know what you're doing. So please research that. And this is just how Jill and I do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if every time we have a career path, we ask everybody, how are you doing? And they're like, I don't know. The guy does it. And so I don't want you to be one of those people. I want you to really know what this is. So that's what works for us. If you're an Land Academy member, multiple people answered Alex here and said, private message me, I'll give you the name of my accountant.
Okay.
Today's topic, do you want to talk about any of this?
No.
Today's topic, what a successful land investment month looks like. Jill, what do you have?
In that case, you were yin and I was yang. Nope. Thank you. All right. I'm curious about your thoughts on this one too. I do know this: a successful land month is in a system. There's probably a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 rolling thing that you normally do. Because if you don't, it's really easy to just do one transaction at a time, and you're never going to get ahead doing that. Number one, you have to have all these things going on. And then within that month, you have things that go on that week. Like, Tuesdays and Thursdays is my deal review time. Wednesdays I sign all the deeds, if anything that's sold for the week before, or whatever it is. That's usually, you have to have those kind of well thought out, planned sessions, if you will, just to stay organized and to stay ahead of it. But you said you had a whole...
I do.
Take it away.
Here's the list. So there's 10 basic steps. Jillian, could you mentally just... I'm doing this from memory completely, so can you just interrupt me if I miss one of the steps?
Sure.
Number 1, you need to find a place to send mail. We call that in the group trolling/fishing. I think trolling, like from a fish standpoint, is a better way to do it, but trolling has such a bad connotation on the internet these days. And what that essentially means is looking around the internet on Zillow and Realtor for places that where properties are moving through the system. And there's a lot of properties that fit your acquisition criteria. So number 1, find a place to send mail. If you've been in the business for a while like us, that's in the past. We're real comfortable with where we're going to send mail. But if you're new, I want you to spend a bunch of time on that. Have a checklist. Check, did I do that this month? Check, should I do it in the last week of the month or the first week? I think the first week. So now you've got a few places that you've tested. You run the red, green, yellow test and you love it. I got it. We have 3 locations that we think are going to work. Number 2, prepare, download the data and prepare your mailer. Number 3, price it. Price your mailer and get it in the mail.
In a perfect world, would that all be like week 1 of the month, or just 1 week that you plan on it? I know, because I've heard people talk about this. We do coaching. We do one-on-one coaching within Land Academy, and this is one of the things that we'll do is help you set it up. And I know a lot of people like to do it like the middle of the month is my time to do exactly what you're doing for the finding a new area, downloading the data, scrubbing the data, pricing it, and getting it ready to go in the mail for next month.
Oh,
so
that's great.
Okay,
actually.
cool.
Yeah, there's a million ways to do this, but you need to, in the list that I'm running down, all of these things need to happen.
Okay.
So just keep this in mind. I've said this for the last few years, but really directly. I want you to think about, when I'm going down this list, I want you to think about opening and owning and running a convenience store. And so what ends up happening for people that don't see the results that they want is they open the convenience store and they open the front door and they only open the convenience store 2 weeks out of the month, or 2 days out of the month, excuse me. That's ludicrous. You would never do that. It would be open as many hours as you possibly can with the least amount of staff possible. That's why convenience stores are open 24/7, a lot of them. So if you don't send mail out, or if you don't answer your phone, or you miss one of these steps, it's like having a convenience store open 20% of the time. So what are we on?
I didn't number that. Sorry.
No.
What?
Find a place to send mail, regardless of the numbers. Prep your mailer and get it in the mail. Not sure what number that is, but it needs to happen. And price that. Prep and price your mailer. Spends a bunch of time on this so that it's all correct and it's in the mail. It's going to take about 2 weeks for that mailer to hit in general. It's just because that's how the U.S. Post Office works. We've tried to speed it up.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't
It really
matter.
doesn't.
What Jack's explaining right now with the mail, you're going to get it into a system. So it's going to be like, you know, you probably do it once a month, and you probably split your mailer in between 2 batches. And once you have that first one go out, you're in a system. You're never going to have a lag again because it's always going to be methodical and spaced out. That today is the whole point of why
Correct.
we're talking here. You can't run around like a crazy person and then kick back for 3 weeks. Run around like a crazy person, kick back for 3 weeks. If you do, you will burn out, and your business is going to be a mess. You really have to think about what Jack's explaining, all the things that he's listing here that you need to do in 1 month. Spread them out on a calendar methodically, and then you're never running around like a crazy person, and you never get hung up if due diligence took you 2 days on this one property, because everything's just kind of casual and calm and flowing. Take it.
So this mails out. You have a amount of time to review your processes and do kind of like a step back in your business. Well, am I doing this right? Is everything going okay? Is my wife still happy? Or whatever that ends up being. Does my website work? Is Pat Live functional? All the back end administrative stuff should happen somewhere in the middle of the month or whatever works for you. And so you can review that while you're sitting there waiting for the mail to hit. If you're in a system 6 months down the road, your mail is hitting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so all throughout this process, you're answering phones, dealing with the sellers, and maybe closing deals on the buy and the sell side. And so that's all going to happen naturally anyway.
Sure.
And the more mailers you have in play, the more you can pat yourself on the back and say, this is a successful month.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got your administrative stuff is great. You're going to be, like I said, in the process of purchasing at any given time properties, which are really, really non-time consuming. You know, that means going through due diligence, and Jill talks about this all the time. Choose a day of the week where you can run through due diligence and talk to sellers. In the end, you're going to be on the phone more than you think. From the buy side and the sell side. And so there's 10 very specific steps in Land Academy that we go through when you're new to get you to the end of cashing the check when you're on the sell side of the property. But Jill's summarized it perfectly. You have to get, and if you're new, constantly trying new markets and sending a bunch of mail out.
You're going to get better all the time, more efficient all the time. My final point is, you're doing it right when you have, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you have these systems flowing. There's never a lag. You have properties going in, properties going out, properties going in, properties going out. And you might feel like, I can't believe all I got done today, like in a great way. That's what it should be. Like, I opened 2, I closed 1, I talked to this broker. To the outside world, it looks a little like you're a crazy person because you're wearing all these hats, but that's when it's the best. People are calling you to sell. People are calling you to buy. And you're just sitting here going, okay, yes, no, let's do this, let's do that. That's the groove. You're going to find a groove. It's like, we haven't talked about this in a long time. First gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, right? So first gear is your learning, education phase. Second, you're figuring out. Third gear is the most fun, I think.
Yeah, I think, the groove is a perfect way to say it.
Yeah.
Every successful business I've ever been involved in, I forgot about looking at the money. Where it was just, yep, we're doing it, everything's great. And then I go look at the money and there's a lot in there.
Mm-hmm. That is the best.
Celebrating a win is fine. Just do it briefly.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, we're here to establish processes, learn how to get into the real estate business or make your existing real estate business better because you already know this works.
Isn't that funny? I like that. Celebrating a win is a bottle of wine, not a cruise, a 2-week cruise.
It's not taking time off in any way.
Yeah, not yet. That'll come, but not yet.
You send out 10,000 offers and you should get about a 1% response. That means 100 people are going to call you back. your job, like we talked about yesterday, is to separate those 100 responses from people who are going to sell the property to you for the price you want or some version of that, and not. And you should do about, let's just say that's 1%. So on that 10,000 units, you got 100 responses, you buy a property. Those are pretty good numbers. The key is not to glom on that statistic, mailer yield. The key is to think, okay, I'm going to multiply that times 12. So now I've got 120,000 mailers out. I've got 1,200 people have responded, and 1% of that is 12 properties. If I multiply a $50,000 margin by 12 properties, that's an amazing number. That's $600,000 of net income. That is a successful month. And the only way that happens is you do the same thing, same boring thing every single month.
There you go.
Until you can hire somebody else to do it, and then you can move on and get bigger. Join us tomorrow where Jill and I discuss why need drives real estate decisions, not want, and why it's so predictable. God, I love the predictable part. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.